So making a sphere, that's relatively easy. How do we make a spiral? How can I make that shape and play with something like pasta? So let's take a look. I'm sharing my screen. We're going to go back to our friend Sketchup, and here's my blank template. So a spiral is basically a curve that continues to go up. So we're going to start with, funny thing, the curve tool. I'm going to get this 2-point arc right here and put, I don't really know how big I want to make it, but basically the thing I want to do, those 2 points there, and then the last one, a couple of things happen. I want to make sure I'm on the right axis, right? So I'm coming out this way, I'm perpendicular, and when I get to a certain spot, it'll say, you've got a half circle. Perfect, that's what I want. Now what I'm going to do is zoom in here just a little bit, just grab that, and I'm going to rotate it by a few degrees, depending on how tight I want my spiral. Do I want it coiled really tight, or do I want it kind of a big loopy thing? So maybe I'll try for a big loopy one this time. Q will get me my rotate tool, or I can go into the toolbox, as you well know. I'm just going to roll over that one endpoint, and again, tap my keyboard arrows. I've got my left arrow tipped there. It picks the green axis as the thing that I'm going to use to tip with. I click on the endpoint there, pull out, and click here. That gives me a handle that I can use to raise that up. And I'm going to say, well, there's 15 degrees. I'm going to say 30 degrees for fun, just to see what that looks like. So now I've got a curve that is tipped on an angle 30 degrees hanging up in the air. Okay so far? I hope so. You can't ask me any questions because I'm on video. And now what I'm going to do is grab that guy, move tool, and which is the M key, as you well know. I'm going to just orbit around here so I can get a better view of this puppy. Move tool will give me a chance to move that up. If I tap my option key, Alt on a PC, I get this little plus sign attached to my cursor that says, you must want to make another one of those. And I do. I'm going to go straight up on the blue axis. Make sure you got on the blue axis when you pull that up. You want to go straight up with that guy. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to rotate it the other way, 60 degrees, because we're going to go back to 0. There's 30. Change it 30 more degrees so that it's going to be another angle up. I hope that makes sense. I've got that guy right there. I'm going to get my rotate tool, tap my left arrow again, go to the other end, click there, and click and rotate and say 60 degrees, 60. I just type that in. Don't touch any other keys. Just type it in and it will go right into your angle right there. So now I've got two curves, one on top of the other. They're directly above. I can see that. And what I want to do is get this top one to be going the other way. This is such a cool trick. Every time I do this, it knocks me out. I'm going to tap my S key to get the scale tool. It makes a big box around the outside of the whole thing so I can see how that piece is built. This handle right here, the middle one in that side, gives me a chance to scale this thing. It says, oh, you want to scale it? You want to make it smaller? Well, no, actually, I want it to go the other way. Look at that. Isn't that the coolest thing? So we just flipped it inside out and turned it inside out on itself and put it over there. So now I've got two arcs, one floating on top of the other one. I'm going to grab my move tool. When you want to move something, touch the thing that you want to connect to whatever you're moving it to. I want this point here to be attached to that point right there. So I'm going to grab that, pull that down on the blue axis, and you notice when I get there, it snaps. Doink. Now I've got two parts. I've got one whole coil of my spiral. Grab those two pieces, shift click to select more than one thing, and now control click or right click to say weld my edges. I'm welded now. And now this is really cool too. What I want is to clone this guy and pull it straight up so that this point attaches to this point on the clone that I'm going to make. So grab your move tool, tap your option key to get another one, option, and I'm going to grab this point because that's the one I want to touch right there. Snap. So that's cool, but not as cool as this. Watch this. I haven't touched anything else. I'm just going to type X6, X6, doink, and it says, you want 6 more of those? No problem. I mean, really what it does is say, I've already made 1, I'll give you 5 more. So you can do that as long as you want. Okay, now I'm going to select all, Command A, select all, Control click with my arrow key, and get my weld edges. Now I've got a big old coil that's one wire, one loop, and it looks like that. doesn't look like a spring yet because it doesn't have anything attached to it. So now we're going to come to the part where you add what shape do you want to put on there. We fooled around with a triangle in class. I think I'll put a circle on this just to be kind of, clear and obvious. What I want to be able to do is to see the direction of that point right there. We set this curve up on the red axis, which means the green is perpendicular to that. So I get my circle tool, touch there with the left axis with that left arrow, so I can put a big old fat circle on it. We'll make a big piece of pasta here. Hey. All right, so now I've got that. I've got the path selected. I've got the follow me tool selected, and I say this is my shape. Boink. And there, my friends, is a beautiful piece of fusilli. Woohoo! So that's pretty cool. You could do things to this here, but it probably would be even more fun to play with this in Stager. Imagine that filled with glass or beer or something like that. So hopefully that helps you to get a spiral. I will make probably a couple more of these just for to help you out. See ya.